In this segment, we're going to show you how to operate your Hunter X-Core clock. Everything on this clock works with these buttons up here in this dial. So let's turn this dial to current time and day. It is blinking 2014, that is the year. If that was incorrect, we could use the plus or the minus to bring it to where it's correct. I'm going to use this arrow over key as kind of a cursor button, and I'm going to push it over one time, and it's going to bring me to my month. Again, up or down with this plus or minus will adjust the month. Push it over again, it will bring me to my day of the month. And the 20th, again, up or down. If that was incorrect, push the cursor over, and that will bring me to AM, PM, or you could set this controller for military time if you wanted to. Cursor over one more time, that will bring you to your hour, and then one more time will bring you to your minutes. Again, plus or minus, adjusting those up or down. That is your current time and day. Let's move over here to start times. This controller has the capacity to run the sprinkler system 4 times a day. More than likely, if once you have established sod, you're not going to be running it 4 times a day, but as you're getting sod established, you may be watering, 2-3 times a day as you're getting it established. This clock, start time 1, is set at 3 a.m. So it's going to water the whole cycle at 3 a.m. If I push the cursor over button, it is also watering at 5 p.m. That is start time 2. Cursor over. Start time 3 and start time 4 are not on, so they are off. As you're cutting back your watering times, for instance, I'm going to go to start time 2, and let's say I don't want to water at 5 p.m. anymore. I only want to water at 3 a.m. I'm going to use the plus or the minus, and I'm going to take that 5 p.m. up to midnight, or between 11:45 p.m. and 12 a.m. is the off position. So I want to get rid of that second start time by taking it to 1 past 11:45 p.m. Just between 12 a.m. and 11:45 is the off position. So now I'm not watering at 5 p.m. as well. I'm only watering at 3 a.m. And again, I could adjust that time for when I want to water using the plus or minus. So when you want to get rid of start times, you just take it to the off position between 11:45 and 12. So currently we are just at 3 a.m. Let's move the controller down here to run times. If this is a system Nebraska Sod installed, we should have left you a little yellow sheet on top of your controller that tells you how long we normally recommend each one of your zones to run for. This particular sprinkler system has 5 zones. Zone 1 on run times is running at 15 minutes. Zone 2 is running at 45 minutes. 3 at 30, 4 at 30, 5 at 15. This is a 6-zone controller, but we don't have a zone 6, so there's 0 minutes on it. If I wanted to adjust the times on, let's say, just zone 4 in particular, I'd use the arrow back and forth key to get me to 4, and then I could use the plus or the minus to adjust that time on there. That is your run times. Water days. Right now, this clock is set up to water on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Every day that has a watermark above it, it's going to water. On the days that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, it has a circle around it with an X. That's telling me it's not going to water on that day. If I want to, let's say I want to water every single day of the week, while it's on Monday and it's blinking with that X on it, hit plus and it turns it to a watermark. I could hit plus again on Tuesday, I could hit plus again on Wednesday, plus on Thursday, plus on Friday, plus on Saturday, plus on Sunday. Now it's watering every day. And to get rid of the days, if I didn't want to water, let's say for instance on Monday while it's blinking, hit the minus key and it puts that circle and the X through the day again. That is setting your water days. Seasonal adjustment. This is basically a percentage. This isn't something that's used a whole lot. In one of our other segments on the website here, you could go through and look at the cycle and soak function. That's another way to set the controller, in which case you would be using the seasonal adjustment. Basically what it is, these run times are set at 15 and 30 minutes, for instance, and this is set at 100%. They're going to water at 15 and 30 at 100%. If I adjust this down using the minus key down to 50%, now instead of 15 and 30, they're going to run 7.5 and 15. It's going to give you a percentage of what you have them set at. I'm going to bump that back up to 100 for now. Coming over here to solar sync settings. On the Hunter controller, Hunter also offers an option to buy what they call a solar sync. It's kind of their version of a rain sensor. Nebraska Sod typically installs the Rainbird rain sensors, so we don't have solar sync paired up with this. We have a Rainbird one, in which case we're just going to kind of disregard the solar sync settings unless you were to have a solar sink wired up to this, but this one does not. Manual 1 station. Let's say I just want to water station 2, for instance. If I cursor over to get 2 blinking, and now I turn the dial from manual 1 station up to run, it is now just going to water that one station, such as station 2. It would not water anything past station 2, just the one station. And of course, if I left it on run, it would run its program as well that we have it set for. I'm going to turn that to off. And if the system is on off, this dial, obviously the system won't do anything. It won't run whatsoever. If I turn it to run, it is going to operate on the start times and run times and water days I have set up. If I wanted to run everything, I want to put a full cycle of water down and run my 1 through 5 right now. While it's on run, if I hold down the little cursor over or the hand button here for about 2 seconds, it is turning on station 1. It's telling me zone 1 is on. There's 15 minutes left in that station. It will run everything after that. So it would run 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It would finish running, and then if the dial's still on run, of course, it would run its regular program as well. Everything we have set up so far is on a program A. So let me turn this to off for a second. If I turn this dial over and we were adjusting the start times, run times, and water days, you'll also notice there's a little A down here on the display. That is setting up, everything I've set up is on an A program. If I push the PRG button, program button, it brings me to a B or a C program. You have the capacity to run a B and a C program. This controller in particular is not using that. We don't have a B or a C set up. If, for instance, maybe over time I decide to put some landscape watering in on zone 6, I could set up a separate program on a B to run that independent of my turf. So I could have my turf running on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning on an A program, and then I could have my landscaping watering on a Tuesday, Thursday at 11 o'clock at night, independent, and I could adjust them separately. But for purposes of running this system, we're not going to be using a B or a C program. If I turn this dial back to off, this particular this system has a rain sensor wired up to it. So I'm using the rain sensor right now. This clip right here is telling me it is active, so it's paired up with the controller. If for some reason I would not like to use the rain sensor that's paired up to it, I could turn this little clip up to sensor bypass, and that is shutting the rain sensor off of this controller. But for purposes of this system, I'm going to turn that back to active, and that is how you set your Hunter X Core controller.